Hey, Jay here. A lot of people think electric dirt bikes are the future. We're going to find out a little bit of that right now on this little bike. We have a KTM SX-E 5 from KTM. This is the first electric bike from a major manufacturer that's available to buy. In the past, it's been new startup companies, and we've seen prototypes from other companies, but this is the first one that's actually ready to buy. KTM's seems like they're behind this. It's a pretty cool looking little unit. We've ridden it around a little bit, and it's pretty neat so far. But is it worth the money, and who's it really best for? All those types of things. AMA announced just recently that they're going to have a class to race these at Loretta Lynn's for 4 to 6 year olds. So for parents that are, this video is really intended for those parents that are thinking about one of these for their kid, or for those people who are just interested in electric bike technology. So for me, obviously with FMF pipes and Vertex pistons and hot cams and so forth, electric bikes probably aren't the best, but I'm going to be objective and kind of look at this and tell you what I think it's good for, maybe what it's not as good for. It uses a charging system right here that you have to plug into the unit. Real easy to plug in. You plug it in. There is no batteries to swap out. That's what a lot of people are hoping for on electric bike technology. They want to have a battery that they can swap in and out like a Makita drill, and just swap them out and have 2 or 3 batteries sit at their truck, swap them out, charge, and then go. That's not here yet. I think it's a ways off. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, maybe in these little bikes. I think we're used to it with some of the little type scooter type things. People have those replaceable batteries, and they're pretty cool. So not here yet on that. You have to have this big charging unit. And the funny story is, when I picked up this loaner bike, I picked it up, took off. An hour later, I stopped at my buddy's house. We're talking, we're doing some stuff, and I forgot the charger. So I had to go back and get the charger, because I'm used to picking up a dirt bike. I pick up a dirt bike. I don't take a gas can with me. I just pick up the dirt bike and go home. I forgot to take the charger. So it's obviously going to be a big learning curve, and so we're going to talk about some of that. We have some kids that are going to ride this thing today. We're going to obviously see what they think. There's a lot of different modes on here to try. Obviously, if you use in higher modes that are faster, you're going to use more power. It's going to not last as long. We're hearing 20 to 40 minutes range, depending upon how fast you ride it, and then 20 minutes or so to charge it. So that's what we're going to find out today. So we're going to report right back to you after we get a little time on this thing and see what the kids think, and we'll let you know. Okay, we got our second rider on here. This is Gavin, and this is only his second lap. He's just learning. The other thing that's really weird is they can hear me talking as they're riding. Usually we can talk, and we're talking, and they're like, what? Because it's so quiet. You just hear the chain slap. It seems like the learning curve is a bit here. They're seeming faster on their gas machine bike so far. Okay, now we got our young lady rider here. She's just been riding it for a few minutes after her gas bike. And we started in 1, went to 2, and then 3 on the speed settings. Right now she's in 3. We got some track work going on here. This is our little backyard play area track here. Okay, here we got Maverick on. Getting a little smoother, but we are on the fastest setting. And from what we're seeing, this fastest setting right there is a little too much. Okay, so we've had a couple sessions, and the last one was around, we think, 40 to 45 minutes of actually riding this thing with 3 different riders. And we played with all the settings. The settings are very simple. There's 1, 2, 3, which is, with the buttons. And then if you hit the button again, the main select button, it'll add a 1 and a 3, which is 4. And then a 2 and a 3, which would be 5. And then it lights up all of them, which is 6. So those are the 6 settings. It's really rad. So what we found out with this little track we have here, that in 6, I think it was too much for about anyone, maybe even us, because it just lights up the rear wheel more than you'd think on this really hard pack stuff out here, and it would just slide them out. So 3 or 4 seemed to be the cool ticket. 1, even with minnow on it, with 1, it wouldn't even climb up the little jump. So 1 is good for just small flat area, somebody really learning. that's where one is going to be good. And then after that, so let's talk to Minnow first. First, you rode your, we're going to call them the evil gas machines. We rode those. We rode that one first. What did you think after riding your evil gas machine that you're used to then to riding this electric bike?
Mine has a taller front or whatever it's called.
Yeah, she rides a 110, which is a lot bigger bike. Both these kids are actually now on 110. All of them are on 110s. Been on 70s and now 110. So they're not riding two-stroke 50s. So we're not kind of comparing apples to apples there. So and then what do you think of how this one rode compared to yours?
It goes a little bit faster than mine.
It's quicker and snappier. And then did you like that you could adjust the speeds?
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Kind of cool. What do you think of how quiet it was?
It was kind of weird because mine usually makes a really loud sound.
So, what else did you like about this one?
The colors are cool.
The colors are cool. So that's a big point when you're shopping for an electric bike, is that the colors are cool. What don't you think?
Yes.
All right. Anything? Do you want one of these for yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll let her parents know about that. So a new one of these. And so let's have Maverick step in here. Maverick. Now, are we going to talk about the little incident that you had with this thing?
No.
No, he doesn't want to. So he was doing really well and really confident. And we have a little GoPro footage that I think we could throw in here if we want. And so I think we might. But I think he was feeling a little extra confident. There's another term for it. But he was feeling a little extra confident, and he pulled up a little bit and then dropped the front and then grabbed a little bit of front brake. Are you used to something with that good a front brake?
Mm-hmm.
He's speechless. So
Kind of.
his other bike has drum brakes, and so when you have drum brakes, you're not used to good disc brakes. These brakes are awesome. So what else did you like about this bike? And you tried it in pretty much all the settings. What did you like best about this bike?
The settings and how fast it can go.
That you could change the settings, and which setting did you like the best?
Probably 4.
4, because you were in control and had good power. All right, and you like the color too, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. All right, Gavin, come on in here. All right, so Gavin's, and I did check their lap times, and all of them seem to have got their lap times a lot lower, not say a lot lower, but either equal to or lower with this than their evil gas machine. And so what did you think of this thing, and what were the things that stood out to you?
Well, it was a lot faster when the settings were changed, and I really liked that it was lighter than my dirt bike.
Yes, we did notice. We haven't weighed this, but it is really light. I think it's substantially lighter than most 50s, 4-stroke 50s for sure, which most kids are playing on. So pretty cool bike. And anything else you noticed that you liked a lot?
I liked how fast it went.
Liked how fast it went. And which setting did you like best? What number?
6.
6. He liked the most power. So one of the things that all these kids noticed is the brakes. First when they got on it, they were playing with the gas like and not being steady. Now Minnow was pretty steady with the gas straight away, nice and steady, and wasn't blowing the turns. These guys were getting a little too much and blowing the turns on this thing. So right now, we haven't had to charge it in a while. It's supposed to take about 20 more minutes. We should be charged up. We're going to put a little bit more time on, and I'm going to do a little conclude on this thing and tell you kind of my thoughts and what this bike would be best for, or who'd be best for. But thank you guys for helping. To my test riders. And we did ride this. Me and a couple of my buddies here, dads here, rode it. It's pretty impressive, even with us on it, that all weigh way too much. And ideally, I would say Minnow and this size are probably at the max for this size bike. So most people are probably going to be in this range or smaller. But the nice thing is with that one setting, you're barely moving, and you can just be out here in a flat field like this and set up some cones and really learn to ride in a safe situation like that. So I'll be right back. Okay, so that's been a blast out here playing with this thing. I've already spoken that I don't know that electric bikes are the future. There's a lot of things that I don't like the potential of for electric bikes. I like how, obviously, on a trail riding situation, going for a 4 to 8 hour trail ride, I don't know if that's ever going to be practical on an electric bike and being out in the middle of nowhere, like a lot of places we go. So for trail riding, I don't know if it's ever going to be there. Okay, so that's my first, thing or concern. Secondly, with these, a lot of kids, they like to ride until you stop. When you have gas in the machines, they like to ride until they need gas or, lunch, if you start at breakfast. So a lot of kids just like to keep going. And when you have to stop to charge it, then they might just have to hop on their, Fortnite or something silly while they wait for it to charge. So that's another downside of this. Now, the pluses of this thing, well, I guess I should say another negative thing is this thing is $5,000, a little bit over. So a lot of money for a really cool toy. When I say a toy, you think of electric bikes like, you get at a, department store. But this thing has legitimate brakes and suspension and everything is legit. So it's not like a toy like that. It's an electric motorcycle. It's a legit deal. And so it costs right similar to the two-stroke engine version. So the price is really up there. And so, like I said, and that the racing situation for this bike is going to be very limited to where and how you do that. So now, who's this bike I think can be best for is, I think for people that have maybe a little bit even smaller backyard than this and live in maybe an area where they can't have noise. We can get away with riding dirt bikes back here with the kids and not have much problem. But in a lot of neighborhoods, you can't. You can't do that. So having one of these in your backyard, I don't think you're going to get hardly anyone ever to complain because the thing's pretty quiet. So that's going to be a big advantage for in, densely populated neighborhoods where they have room in their backyard to have one of these, or a little spot down at the end of the road where they can ride. That's going to be a kind of a cool thing, no noise, and can do that. Also, little to no maintenance. You're going to keep the chain adjusted, and that's it. Check your forks now and then. Not a lot of maintenance. No pistons, no clutches to change, nothing to wear out. So charging it up is pretty simple and a breeze if you keep that thing charged. And the settings thing is really neat. So I think KTM's onto something here. I don't know. Obviously, I'm hoping that we don't ever have electric race bikes in Supercross, right? I hope we can hear 250s and 450s just going through Supercross and Nationals. I don't know if the future is electric bikes for the big bikes. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm hoping that we still have gas engines. I enjoy them. I think it's great. But I think there probably is a market. And I don't know that KTM is, from what I can tell, they're not going to abandon, their little bikes, race bikes anytime soon. They're sticking with this technology to maybe help bring some new people into dirt bike riding, and then those people then will hopefully then get into other forms of racing and riding and trail riding and certain things. So it's a pretty cool bike, and I've been pretty impressed with it. So something you could probably check out, and then even on those KTM ride days, something you could get to and check out. So really fun checking out. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We'll see you later.
Are they dangerous?
Electric bikes are dangerous? Oh.